Dragon Ball's story just keeps on going, from new manga, new anime, new games, and more. But ever since 2015, it seems we've been stuck in this era of Dragon Ball that's scared to push forward, afraid to go past the original end of the story, the end of Z. Even Dragon Ball Daima decided to place itself before Battle of Gods in the timeline. It's puzzled Dragon Ball fans for years that we haven't just moved on to new territory at this point. But I feel the potential reasons Toriyama, Toyotaro, and Shueisha don't move on could have some valid points. Let me break down what I found and know, and why I believe the end of Z is probably the perfect ending to Toriyama's Dragon Ball. Goku at this point in the story feels so different than before, yet this is a natural progression of his character. After certain time skips, Goku feels like he constantly reaches new states of enlightenment. Whether it be getting unbelievably powerful, obtaining an extreme sense of mercy, or some other factor, Goku always comes back to the story with new surprises, always shocking both the characters and the audience alike. At the end of the previous fight, Goku gave his respects to Buu. Unlike Frieza and Cell, who he felt anger and resentment towards, he could tell that while Kid Buu was evil, he was pure in a sense. A chaotic, animalistic force that wanted to just keep on fighting endlessly. He took on the whole universe and nearly won. It required Goku's Spirit Bomb, the power of everyone on Earth, those on Namek, the energy of the afterlife, and the magical wish-granting power of the Dragon Balls to put Buu down once and for all. Goku felt how amazing Buu was, and only wished he could fight him under different circumstances. He hated that he couldn't win alone, and needed to resort to things like fusion and the Spirit Bomb to stand up to him. Hey, this is me in editing. I realized there was one thing I forgot to mention. Toriyama states in multiple interviews that he found the fight with Buu to be unfair, and not for the Z fighters, but for Buu. There's just one enemy, despite there being so many people over on this side. It's a bit cowardly, isn't it? You can tell from this final line from the battle with Majin Buu that Goku's true desire is to fight one-on-one. But, if he was born a good guy, then without the worry of senseless destruction, they could have the kind of rematch Goku desires. He vows to train and wait for that day that Buu is reborn as a good person, finding a new goal to set his sights towards. Fast forward 10 years later and the cast has grown with new faces like Pan and Bra. Goku has gone through some kind of transformation of not only power but perspective. One we aren't privy to on the details just quite yet. I'm talking about this like Super hasn't happened yet in the story. But even still, I don't feel that Goku has 100% reached his end of Z characterization yet. He had been waiting a long time for this day, the day he faces Buu yet again in a proper match, now reincarnated as the young boy Oob. Goku wasted no time in fighting him, as he requested Buu to make their match happen in the first round. And once they do fight, Oob showcased his insane power to everyone, proving Goku's absolute confidence in his strength. However, Oob was clearly not on the level Goku needed to get serious with, so Goku decided to leave with Oob to train him into the fighter that can both take his place as Earth's protector and give him the decade-long awaited fight. After saying his goodbyes to his friends and family, Goku flies off with his young protege into the horizon, the journey of Dragon Ball finally over. Or so was the case for Toriyama back when creating this chapter. Before we go into the material following the original story, how did Toriyama feel on the ending? Well, I'll let him explain that from the 2016 interview from the Dragon Ball 30th Anniversary Super History book. The artificial human and Cell story was pretty rough. I guess you could say I did all I could with Frieza, so I was burned out and figured I couldn't pull off a better battle than that. I thought, do I really have to keep going? Even when Cell ended, I didn't feel like it could end. So before the Buu story arc began, I said once this next thing wraps up, I want to end it no matter what. Because I thought there was no way for any stronger guys to pop up, or for Goku to get any stronger than he already was. So my starting point for the Boo arc was, this is the end, so I'm gonna draw whatever I want. I always liked dumb gags, so I made things comical with the Great Saiyaman and Gotenks and whatnot. It wasn't until immediately before the final chapter that I thought up the ending. I needed something that would signal this was truly the end, so I jumped forward 10 years. But I didn't count on the series continuing in anime form, so I bet it was really rough on everyone over at the anime company. So much has happened since then, and since even the middle of Super's anime run, people have wondered if we'd ever go past the end of Z again like GT did. Well, I have a theory. A game theory! This is just totally my thoughts on the subject, and I could easily be wrong, and they just end up going past the end of Z in due time anyway. But all the more reason to say my own theory now. I believe Shueisha, Toei, Toyotaro, and everyone else making decisions in the modern content are afraid to go past the end of Z because it is Dragon Ball's true end. I mean, it's convenient that the 10-year time skip existed for them, as they could cram in many stories without having that kind of pressure. Toriyama gave both parties notes, but neither he nor anyone else seemed to want to go beyond the manga's end. Think about it, unlike GT, anything modern doesn't have the risk of trying to be the new end for the story. They can always just funnel the direction back to a clear, definitive stopping point. But once you're calling the shots, you gotta be the one making the hard choices. Do you respect Toriyama's final designs for the characters, or make whole new ones? Do you up the stakes with an even more powerful foe than anything else before them, or do you scale back the story? Do you keep everyone around and maintain the status quo, or do you take risks and start killing off important characters to Toriyama's work? It's quite an intimidating task, and so I feel the safest play has been to continue in this 10-year time gap. Is it the right thing to do? Keep Dragon Ball in this gap forever? I don't personally think so, but I just understand there could be hesitation to push forward. Dragon Ball Super at this point, despite the contradictions it makes to the end of Z, continues to push toward it with the main cast growing up, Pan becoming a relevant character, and most importantly, the emphasis on Oob. In the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 anime arc, Goku tells Vegeta and Krillin about how King Yama told him Evil Boo had been reincarnated on Earth as a good human child. Which is funny that neither Vegeta nor Krillin seem to care about this bombshell, and Vegeta will go on to forget Goku even told him this. In the manga, Dende tells Goku about Oob while the latter is recruiting people for the Tournament of Power, with Dende insisting that Goku trains the boy when he grows older. It's just a small thing, but in the context of the tournament, it means Goku has even more motivation to keep Universe 7 from being erased. Not only would innocent lives be lost, not only would he lose his friends and family, he would also lose his eventual end goal. The biggest push in the Oob agenda, though, comes from the Moro arc. The Grand Supreme Kai, having been awakened inside Fat Boo, learns that his being had been split between both Boos. Good Boo received his personality and appearance, and Evil Boo retained the tremendous godly power of the Grand Supreme Kai. Well, we assume it was dormant power, because I doubt Goku, Vegeta, and them were fighting a god-level threat back in the Boo arc, but who knows? That power would be destroyed alongside Kid Boo, but it wouldn't completely disappear. In the finale, when Vegeta uses Spirit Fission to gather everyone's energy like a pseudo-spirit bomb, he did not have enough power to push Goku beyond Super Saiyan Blue. When all hope was lost, a massive surge of God Ki is sent to Vegeta, and the sender remains a mystery to the cast. But we, the audience, are shown that it was in fact from Oob with the assistance of the Grand Supreme Kai, and this power is enough to push Goku to Ultra Instinct and defeat Moro for good. Now, hold on a minute, let's break this down. All of Goku's friends contribute to giving him energy, and Goku goes from base to Super Saiyan Blue. All of them are exhausted and cannot donate any more energy. This wasn't enough, and Goku is drained back down to base thanks to exhaustion and Moro absorbing his energy. Oob alone sent Goku from base to mastered Ultra Instinct. And Goku even gets a power-up we've never seen before up until this point, the iconic Manga Susanoo. We cut back to Oob, and he doesn't even realize anything happened. He's not sweating or panting, just confused at the situation because to him, nothing happened. Unbeknownst to himself, Oob both saved the day and proved he has some of the most insane potential of anyone in the Dragon Ball universe. Now, I don't think Oob even needed a power increase like this at all. A child with the power of Kid Buu, younger than even Goku at the beginning of Dragon Ball, is already enough for Goku to take interest in, no matter how strong our old master is. But pushing Oob to these heights just makes it definitive why Goku would express such interest in him on a surface level. Oob is cemented now as everything Goku could want in a fighter, a good heart without evil, and a strong power to push Goku to his limits. Goku got everything he ever wanted in life in the original manga. He was a content man which showcased through his relaxed demeanor. But that rematch with Evil Buu was his last goal, the last thing he needed to achieve, and with it he would find himself the perfect successor for the day he would inevitably leave the living world. Add in Super on top of that, and it looks like no matter how strong Goku gets, Oob can still satisfy Goku's goals. But where could you even take the story after the end of Z? What could there be left to touch on? Or what new ideas could you come up with? Luckily for me, the man with the greatest ideas on Earth, I got a few totally serious ideas that Toei, Toyo, or whoever should definitely do. For example, give us that long-awaited Goku vs. Beerus rematch. Perhaps after the end of Z, Goku does some crazy training with Oob, and with Super, True, Mastered, Completed, Ultra Instinct, Final Sign, Limit Break, Awakened, he can add up to maybe 1% of Beerus' power now. Maybe a new chapter in Goku vs. Vegeta. In the End of Z DLC for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, it did something where Vegeta unlocked some enhanced Super Saiyan 2 to compete with Goku's Super Saiyan 3, and it ended in a draw. Super Saiyan Rage, but better. Do that, but with Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. Maybe for one of the final arcs, do what Dragon Ball Online did, and have them go blow themselves up in space fighting each other to the death, rather than just growing old like normal people. That's real, by the way. I still think that's an insane way to end Goku and Vegeta's story. Maybe you incorporate Cooler's Revenge into mainline Dragon Ball, like with Broly. Just make up some dumb reason why he's been gone, like he's been off training for 40 or so years and got this cool final form that Frieza doesn't have. And then just throw on the Dragon Ball Heroes golden form on top of that, or give him a black Cooler form like Black Frieza. If you want to get crazier, how about a resurrection of C? Maybe all Frieza's men are tired of his reign. Maybe he's a little too abusive to them. They want the old King Cold back. And then when he's resurrected, he gets similar forms to Frieza to make up the power difference. And, you know, for some reason, just decides to overthrow his son. Could be cool. What about a story where part of Cell Max survived, and it finds a way to become completed Cell Max? Then you can really nostalgia bait with Gohan vs. Cell. Ooh, I know. How about the Kakarot War? A villain that hates Goku, like how about a Red Ribbon Army android, gains dimensional timeline powers, and brings over a bunch of evil Gokus to ruin our MC's life? You could then make it thematically relevant and have Oob be the one save the day because he's the one to surpass Goku. Oh my god, I'm so smart! Then maybe all of the Frost Demons form a great big alliance to finally take out the Saiyans once and for all, and then the Saiyans all gather together to fight against them, or the Z Fighters too. It'd be really cool. Maybe have Sonic the Hedgehog and Shadow show up. That'd be so awesome, man. Oh my god, I got such good original ideas. Alright, jokes aside, I think if Dragon Ball is to continue, it should be bold enough to finally leave this era and venture to the uncharted lands beyond Z. But that's ignoring the fact that really, Dragon Ball in its original state already had the perfect ending. Maybe this would have been better to mention when I was talking about the manga, but I felt it was appropriate to end this whole topic with. Toriyama also said in that interview I mentioned earlier, when the Kanza band came out several years later, I added a bit more to the ending. I thought that somehow it just didn't click. I wanted to make it more clear that Goku's battles were over and that a new generation was taking over. The way Toriyama saw it, Goku had reached the ceiling of his power, and there was no stronger threat he could think of than someone like Buu. The way this comment phrases it, Goku may never face any danger again. For the rest of his life, his fights would more than likely come from bouts with rivals and the promising next generation. He wouldn't get much stronger, but Oob at only 10 had so much more growing to do. He would surpass Goku eventually, not only becoming the world's protector, but also the perfect opponent Goku has always wished for. End of Z isn't just the ending to the original Dragon Ball story, it's the ending to Goku's story. And as much as Toriyama tried to spice the story up, Dragon Ball has always been the story of Goku. Surely the Dragon World will continue and new threats may come and go, but Goku has lived his life and gotten everything he ever wanted. For the man who was always looking forward to the future, I can't think of a better ending than him being rewarded with his final dream. Besides GT, how do you follow that up? Maybe we'll find out one day, but as it stands, it's what I consider the perfect ending to Dragon Ball. Anyway, this is just a quick video I wanted to make about one of my favorite parts of Dragon Ball. It fills me with a warm feeling that only Dragon Ball in its brightest moments can give. Tell me, how do you guys feel about the end of Z? I know a lot of people feel GT has the best ending in Dragon Ball, so I'm curious what you guys think is the perfect ending. Do you guys have your own idea on how Dragon Ball will or should end? Please share down in the comments. Also, thank you guys for getting me past 1,000 subscribers. I'll dedicate the next video to be something fun and silly as a celebration, like maybe talking about all the ridiculous moves in Dragon Ball or something. Yeah, that could be really funny. Anywho, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you all again soon.